What are
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 things that are must-haves with an estimator?
Someone who is detail oriented. If you can find someone who has experience in the shop, who knows how long it takes to put together a door frame, the ones that really stood out were those who communicated really well.
All right, so an estimator, you think, needs to be detailed, have shop experience, and ask good questions. They have to be a good communicator.
Yeah, they have to be a good communicator.
My name's Dominic Rubino. Welcome to the show. Today, we're going to be talking to one of our own, a architectural millworker who runs a really nice shop. You know, he's got a 10-person crew, 6 or 7 on the floor, 4 or 5 in the office, about 10 people in total. We're going to learn more about that today. But it's an architectural millwork shop that has faced a very specific problem that a lot of us have faced. And he's found an interesting workaround or solution that he's built from scratch to help him do that. So we're talking today to Richard Bergan. Rich Bergan. I met him at AWI. Some of you already know him. And I just want to pick his brain as an estimator. What does he see in the market? How is he looking for opportunities? How is he making the most of those opportunities? And how is he using this cool little app that he built to help him with that? So stay tuned and we'll get to Rich Bergan. We'll see you on the other side. Mr. Rich Bergan, how are you?
Good, Dom. Great to see you.
Yeah,
I'm great.
Good to see
How are you?
Again. What's that? Sorry?
I'm good to see you.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. You and I met at the last AWI event.
Yeah, in San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Yep.
Great town.
Yeah, it is. I know I haven't been there in a while, but it was good to be back.
Yeah. I knew, but I didn't realize the Alamo was right there.
Yeah.
And then
it's a lot smaller than you expect too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 6-shooters have to be shot from close range. But I didn't leave myself enough time to go really check it out, which I wish I had.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love I know this is not a plug for AWI, but if there was going to be one, this would be it. I really enjoy just everything about the people, the way the conversation goes at AWI.
Mm-hmm.
And then the talk around energy, obviously talking about that stuff, and just so many cool things.
Yeah. It's really great to be able to come together and discuss the challenges that we all have. And because no matter where you are in the country, no matter what your size is, you have the same challenges. And so it's good to speak with peers.
Yeah. And yet, I don't know if you find this, we all think we're unique. It's just me that has this problem.
Right.
It's just me that has problems with selections and scheduling. Right.
No.
It's just me that can't find the right format. It's just me that has this collections. Why is it just our contractors that are giving us trouble on moving dates?
Right.
And then when you get in that room, you're like, oh.
It's a lot bigger than me.
It's a lot bigger than me. And and other people are solving it in their own ways.
Mm-hmm.
They're solving it. We've all got gaps, but yeah.
Yep.
Well, today you and I are here to talk about some of those gaps because you found a particular problem that I thought was interesting. And you've put a lot of focus on it.
Yep.
So we're going to get to that in a second. For those of you who want to know, we're going to talk about missing bid deadlines and how to not do that anymore.
Right.
Or I guess quoting Mater from Cars, to do that.
Exactly.
But before I get there, other people may not have the chance to have met you, Rich. So Richard Bergan, who the heck are you? And how is it that you come to be speaking to all these forward-facing millworkers, cabinet makers, and closet industry pros all around the world?
Yeah, Dom. Thank you very much for having me on. I've listened for a number of years now, so it's fun to be on. My name is Rich Bergan. I'm VP at Bergen Architectural Woodworking. So we are a millwork shop in Connecticut. We service the mostly commercial construction industry in Connecticut and Metro New York. And so our company's been around for 50 years. This is our 50th anniversary year. My dad started it back in 1976. And I've been in the industry, I grew up in the industry.
Yeah.
I worked with him, at the house, helping him do stuff. And then when I was old enough, on the shop floor and, learned all the different things that need to get done to make a project. So
in a shop.
I've been helping him out for a long time. And one of the big things that he always taught me was, save your steps and think about, anticipate, and really, think about saving your energy and your steps so you can get the job done.
Like working smarter before the words maybe lean manufacturing were coined. He was already thinking about efficiency of movement and.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Neat.
Yeah. So I grew up in the industry, and I went to college. I studied something unrelated, international relations and economics.
What?
Yeah, and then I found myself in New York City after school, and I got a job in construction management for Siami Construction. It's a great company, and they really focus on the art sector. So they were building museums. The first job that I was on, it was the new museum, which was it's on the Bowery, and it's this award-winning project from a Pritzker winning architect, and it was a really interesting way to start.
Everything would be unique in that, right?
There's nothing is standard. No. Yeah. Materials coming in from all over the world, and really cool project, and working with a lot of great subs in New York City too. High quality subs, and a great team. So that was a lot of fun.
The pressures in New York City are different than they might be in Tulsa or Vancouver. They're just different.
Yeah. There are a lot of moving parts, a lot of different parties, and that's what I loved about it too. Is I'm talking to the excavating contractor, telling him what he needs to get done. I'm this guy a month out of college, no experience.
With an economics degree.
Right.
Yeah.
Telling him he needs to get it done by this time, and not trying to be too rude, but and then in the next conversation, you're talking to the museum director. So, or a city official trying to get a permit through, or so there's a lot going on, a lot of different personalities too.
Dynamic. We call that dynamic. Yes. Dynamic. Yes. And all that got you ready for the cauldron that is architectural millwork.
Yeah. So when I was there, I started stuffing envelopes and doing all types of admin work, and thinking there's got to be a better way. Like, this is a waste of my time, and I know that there's a better way to do things. So that was kind of always bugging me. But the other thing that I came away with that experience was communication too. We're working with the best subs. They deliver quality, they deliver on time. But the ones that really stood out were those who communicated really well. And I think communication has gotten a lot better in the industry, but
the opportunity and tools for communicating have gotten better. The basic problem is we're guys. Guys aren't known for our communication skill.
No.
Grunting is not direction.
Right. Yeah, especially if you know how to do something and you
assume
how it should be done, you think that everyone else knows that too. And so you just kind of move on those assumptions, and then sometimes those assumptions are wrong, or sharing what your plan is could have saved a lot of time and frustration for the other parties on the project. So those were that was a big thing that I took away from that. And in 2008, I came back to the family business, and started in estimating, which is my primary role right now still. And I saw a lot of the same issues, like, what can we be doing better? We're estimating in Excel, we're duplicate, triplicate data entry for a bid, and there's got to be a better way. We have to save our steps, we have to save our energy, and save our frustration.
Now that you've been in estimating for, how long have you been doing estimating at Bergen?
18 years.
Yeah. If you had to, this is a hard question, but that's, I'm here to ask the tough questions.
Sure.
If you had to talk to a shop that's, let's say, half your size, because you guys are, how many employees?
We have 10 employees.
So if we talk in a shop with 5 to 7 employees and they're just about to hire an estimator, what are
Mm-hmm.
the 2 or 3 things that are must-haves with an estimator?
That's a good question.
Assuming they're not
Definitely.
stealing you away, they're not going to poach you from the family business you're in. Let's assume
Right.
that. Yeah.
Um, someone who is detail oriented.
Mm,
I would say it's if you can find someone who has experience in the shop, who knows how long it takes to put together a door frame, to finish a door frame, to the product is that
right.
you're making, how long does it take to do that? Because the material aspect of it is kind of easy. You can,
The
you can,
material's the material. You're
yeah,
cutting it in
exactly.
squares and rectangles and
Yeah.
yeah, or curves.
Um, so having that experience is great. And I would say somebody who asks a lot of questions, because you're not going to be able to understand how long it's going to take for everything that you make. And sometimes those times change. And so being open to asking the foreman or the person who's actually doing the task, how long does it
Right.
take you to do these things?
Well, and the hard part, and I think this is where you and I might blow past it, is there's another architectural mill worker out there, or maybe a really high-end kitchen cabinet company going, but when it's custom, you don't know how long it's going to take. That's a unique door profile. We're doing it for the very first time. Maybe we got to cut new blades for the molder, like all that. There's all this
Yep.
stuff, but that is the case. You've
Yeah.
got to get as close as you can with the information you've got to make an intelligent decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think, and
And
I know
everyone else is doing that too.
sorry, say that again.
Everyone else is doing that too. All of your competitors, this is probably the first time they're seeing something like this also. So
Right. Yeah. All right. So an estimator, you think, needs to be detailed, have shop experience, and ask good questions. They have to be a good communicator.
yeah, they have to be a good communicator.
Yeah.
And they have to be open. And they also, they have to be um, able to sit there, do the work, and have nothing come of it. Right? You spend hours bidding, you spend hours doing a takeoff, and then
I'm glad you mentioned that.
it goes nowhere.
Yeah. Well, because that's something, and you're on the ownership and leadership side too. We still have to measure
Yep.
that. Because at a certain point, you can't be chasing deals from contractors that just continually go nowhere, or they're using our price to check somebody else's price. And we're not here to do
Hmm.
free homework for people. Right.
Yeah.
But that's another. I mean, I brought you here because you're an expert on bid deadlines and knowing which deals to go after. And
Yep.
hopefully we get into that in today's interview. But we don't want to waste too much time. We have to invest time for the big payoff at the end.
Yep.
But there's a point when it feels like it's a waste or we're burning our cycles on somebody.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that, right?
Yeah. And there are definitely bids that we just say no to, depending on what the profile is. And if it's a client that we work with a lot, we'll have that conversation. Like we like working with you guys, but this is just too small for this area, or we're typically not competitive at this type of job. So I can help you out and give you a number, but it's probably not going to be competitive, and it's not going to be that detailed.
That's a very nice way to say no, Rich. I think you probably just gave people a very nice set of bullets for their gun. Because and how many people out there listening or watching on YouTube, listening on iTunes, watching on YouTube, that
Yep.
are saying, well, I can't say no to that GC. They'll go to somebody else and they'll never use us again.
They will. They'll use you again. If you have the conversation, especially, they appreciate it. At least the ones that we work with, they appreciate it, and they're always looking for good subcontractors. They're always looking for good mill workers, and so they really want you to come back. They want your number on that next bid.
Yeah, they need us as well. But
Yeah.
I think you're reminding me of something that I continue to learn. It's a lesson I keep learning, Rich. It is better to have tough conversations first and fast.
Yes.
Like, hey, I appreciate you inviting us to bid on this. This job size is not our sweet spot, and you're probably not going to like our number.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start bid anyways. No, it's not.
Yep.
And listen, there are times you take it when your biggest builder says, I need a vanity for my ski chalet 6
Right.
states away, and I want your team to install it. You're like, like, of course you do.
Yeah.
Right. And you're still not going to like my number.
Right.
But, yeah. Hey, are you running a business? You know, a wood shop business, a construction business? Well, here's a quick question. What's the thing you can't see? You know, the blind spot that's quietly capping your growth. Most owners have a few and they don't even know it. So what I did is I built a fast reality check. 20 questions on your vision, your systems, your team, your numbers. In just a few minutes, you'll know exactly where you're strong and where you're exposed. So here's what to do right now. Text me the words blind spots. You know my cell phone number. It's 315-903-7853. Send me a text and it's yours. But you know, there are jobs. Anyways, let's get back to the estimating stuff. So paint us a picture of your shop. You said you've got 10 guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take a total stab in the dark. You don't have to answer this, but
Sure.
in my business coachy mind, I think about revenue per full-time employee. And so for everybody listening, for every employee you've got, you need to be 250 grand per employee. So you don't even have to answer Rich. Rich's company is probably around 2.5, maybe 2.25 million in sales.
Yep.
How big's the shop, and do you own the shop? Like, paint us a picture physically so people know what we're dealing with.
Sure. Yeah. The shop is 18,000 square feet. And yeah, we own the facility. It's about,
that's a blessing, isn't it?
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So 18,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm. And about 12,000 of that is actual shop production area. And the rest is in the office. And so it's myself in the office. I do estimating. That's my primary role. Then we have a couple of guys in project management and drafting. Mm-hmm. We kind of found that just the personnel that we have right now, they're good at both. And so that's
drafting and PM.
Yeah. So it's been good. So they can actually, you know, do the engineering and do the project management too.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So, and then my dad is still involved in the business. He comes in every day. And so, he does more of the accounting, and purchasing. And then we have, you know, 6 or 7 guys in the shop, getting the work done.
That's great.
Yeah.
It sounds like a well-rounded crew.
Yeah. We try to focus on that and making sure that we're not too heavy in one area or another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys, and what's the specialty? What is the sweet spot for you guys? Because you're in that really cool corner of the world that every movie is based on.
Right. Yeah. So we mostly work on corporate interiors. So if you're on YouTube and seeing my background, this is one of our projects. So, you know, we did the conference room table here, the credenza, the portal. So we did all of that. So that's what we're looking at. You know, wall panels, reception desks, and then cabinetry. So we do mostly corporate interiors and also a fair amount of healthcare work. There have been a lot of, I'm sure this is the case everywhere in the country, different hospital groups buy out other groups and put their standards everywhere. So so there's.
What about dentists?
We don't do any dentist office, no.
The good thing about the dental market is that they spend their money like they're already rich and famous. That's what I love about dentists.
Okay.
But okay, so we've got a good picture of your shop, and it doesn't sound like you have a lot of churn there. It sounds like you got a really good, solid core of people.
Yeah.
And you've got a mix of office and floor, and then you really know your ideal client.
Yeah.
And so you can just churn out the kind of work. So one of the reasons I asked you to be here is when you and I met at that last event, we were talking about just bids in general, because you're an estimator, and making sure we're going after the right jobs, making sure we're ignoring the wrong jobs. No offense to anybody, but there are jobs that we're not supposed to do. God did not intend for us to do that job. And then when we do, you know who shows up?
Yeah.
The other guy. And then bid deadline. So let's talk a little bit about that. What have you learned in you said 18 years, in your 18 years of being an estimator? what are the things that can really make for problems in your company, not the shop, when you're going after bids and missing deadlines and bidding on the wrong jobs?
Yeah, when you're bidding on the wrong jobs, you are usually ignoring the jobs that you should be focusing on.
Isn't that hard though? Because it's a Monday and you're looking down the pipeline and you're looking at your production schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And as the estimator, everybody's going to be looking at you when they're sweeping the floor. They're like, Rich,
Yeah.
estimate, right? And we don't have any jobs, and now I'm going to get laid off, and my kid's got soccer camp, and
Yeah.
you got to hold steady and go, we just don't see the right flow. I'm answering for you, but I'm asking as well. Is that the case? Is that how it feels?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. When you have a good flow, when the jobs are coming in and they're coming in on a production schedule that's manageable, that's what you're going after, right? Like that's the best. And you can keep estimating and just keep going without too much stress. But when you're in a position where they are sweeping the floors and, you have a couple of bids that you hear are going your way, but just waiting on the owner to, sign the paperwork, and that goes on for weeks, it's stressful and there's nothing that you can do, right? In those positions.
It's easy to say, but 3 weeks in of the same question from everybody in the company or your dad.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on with the Rubino law firm?
Right.
Did we get that boardroom? Did we get those TIs?
Right.
What do you do in that case? Let's just say it is the Rubino law firm. My mom would be so proud. I'm not a lawyer. Let's just say for a moment her dreams came true.
Yeah.
What do you do? I want that Rubino job. How do we make sure we bolt it down?
Yeah. So I follow up. I follow up with the client and see is there something that I can do.
Well, how do you follow up though? Like, who do you talk to? Don't give away confidences that you feel are your secret sauce, but maybe the position title and then the ways that you follow up. What are those?
Yeah, so it depends on where it is, but typically at this point, I'm dealing with the purchasing manager for the contractor. So initially, I might follow up with the assistant estimator who was my main contact, just to see, did they get the job? Did the GC get the job? Did somebody else get it? How is my number? Am I competitive? Should I keep following up with you? Is this a waste of time? And then it goes, if they got the job, then it goes probably to their purchasing manager. And I'll have the conversation with them, the same conversations. How's my number? Does this look like it's going to be moving forward? Is there anything that I can do? Is it a schedule issue? Is it a price issue?
Is it a timing issue?
Is it a timing
schedule?
Yeah.
So sometimes timing is the thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Has the schedule moved? It's been 2 months since we first put this bid in, and your initial schedule said that you would award contracts by now. Has the deadline moved?
No,
because
to say yes has moved, but the deadline has not.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And oftentimes that's the case.
It's incredible, isn't it? So everybody's shaking their head right now listening. They're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm not alone.
Yeah, but those instances where the deadline has moved and you can go back and say, well, look, I actually have a hole in my production for that time. And so I can maybe, if my numbers looks okay, great. If I need to come down a little bit, I might be able to do that based on that hole in production and the new schedule. So, having those conversations is good.
Am I hearing though from you, this is something I'm thinking about from a consultative sales background.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming at this from an angle you might not have expected, but it sounds like you have multiple points of contact inside the GC or the builder, whoever's submitting the request to you. You've established connections there at multiple levels. Yet it doesn't sound like you're afraid to make different connections at different points of the deal.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. So you've got the assistant estimator, or the assistant purchaser, I'm sorry, on their side.
Yeah.
Then the purchaser on their side. Who else might you contact at that company?
Yeah. Oftentimes, I mean, we work with the same companies over and over again. So
You know the players.
we know the players. We've worked with most of their project managers. Um, we've worked with, we've been in contact with their executives. And so it depends on the project, but I'm happy to make phone calls with any of them too. And, sometimes I'm having a conversation with a project manager who calls up and wants to make sure that, that I can meet the schedule, or that I figured for, we can't use the elevator. And it's a five-story walk up.
In New York, you can't park. It'll take you 2 hours to find parking.
Right.
Yeah. Or 2 days. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I'm having conversations with everyone that makes sense, at a different stage, at a stage. And so in the beginning, it's usually the assistant estimator or the estimator. Mm-hmm. And I've made it easy for myself to, developed like an automated process for that.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because somewhere in all this pain, you went and developed software or systems. And what I've learned about you is you continue to change your systems. And it sounds like that's something passed on from your dad, all the way from how do we do this in less steps, like physically moving through the production, to now you're doing that in the office as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been pretty much since coming back, making the Excel files better than SharePoint, and then using automations and connecting the data. And I started out with building a bid management for us, that really had a central area for all of our bids. And then I created a follow-up for it too, because I was seeing that, especially on those when you get into those times when you might be slow, you have sales meetings, right? You never miss the weekly sales meeting. Everyone comes to the weekly sales meeting during the slow times because they want to know what's
coming
down. How long is it going to go on for?
Yeah. Do I have a job?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're worried about, right?
Yeah. Right. And so,
you needed a way to say, here it is, and it's laid out cleanly and predictably.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are the jobs. These are the values. And this is the probability that we're going to get that. And I found it would take me, 4 to 8 hours sometimes a week just to prepare for that, make the follow-up phone calls, make sure I had the correct bid numbers, the values in there for the bids. Because you're dealing with multiple GCs, you might have different revisions on the bids. So just tracking all of that is time consuming.
Do you use a deal scoring framework? And I'm thinking there's a model that I really like by Stephen Schiffman. It's the Schiffman deal scoring framework. Do you use anything like that for establishing where this deal actually is on percentage of chance to close?
It's just something that we've developed, but it's probably not as systematic as that. But I'll look at it. Is it greater than 50% or less? Right. Everything starts at 10% because that's like the standard.
Yeah, hopes and dreams. Yeah. But that's actually, Rich, I appreciate you saying that, because it's easy for me to go home at night and say to my wife, oh my God, we just found out about a project. I'll just say it's $200,000. I'll just pick a number. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And now my wife hears, oh my God, there's a $200,000 job coming down the pipe. This is good. I know that my husband and the company's going to have this, but it's a 10% deal. We just heard about it. It's not ours. We haven't won it. That's not real money. That's not even real potential money for your company. And applying your 10% and my 10% framework, that means there's maybe 20 grand there. Right? Because we maybe might get it. That's a whole bunch of maybes and mights. So then when you move it to 50% chance of closing, that means there's a potential of 100,000 in business. Then as you move it up the scale, 90% and 100%, a deal's only a deal when it's signed.
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah. And right, exactly. I've definitely encountered situations where, you get the verbal, oh, we're definitely doing this. We're definitely doing this. And then we'll start the shop drawings.
Yeah.
And luckily they weren't big jobs, but still, and then it's just crickets and you hear the deal never happened. So yeah, always get that in writing.
Here you are running a woodshop business. And not to add to your day, but over the last 26 years, I've come to realize there is most likely a blind spot that you're missing, just like others have, and it's quietly capping your growth. And you just can't see it, right? My fast reality check shows you exactly where you're strong and where you're exposed. Text me the words blind spots to 315-903-7853, and it's yours. We were in a coaching situation earlier this week where it's a very large millwork project, and the builder is back and playing two different millwork companies against each other, asking for just under $100,000 of free work and saying the quality of that will dictate who gets this job, but it's free no matter what.
Wow.
If you win it, you're going to apply that as a discount to the job, and if they win it, you don't bill us. I'm like, oh man. And you know what kills me is that I know on their side they've got a business coach, and I'm like, foiled. Oh,
yeah.
But we do have to watch for those things. So I appreciate the fact that you take the diligence to do. You've done 8 hours of work a week just to make sure that your deal scoring or your bid, the bid deadlines, and you're giving good information at your sales meeting so the rest of the company knows. Even procurement needs to know how much adhesives we're going to need.
Yeah.
Right. Everything all the way down the line. Yeah.
Yep.
So you've been working on this system for how long?
Pretty much since I started. So probably a good 15 years. I started in Excel and then moved it into SharePoint. And once you get it into SharePoint and you share that with the rest of the company, they can see, okay, these are the bids. You could just look at a list and you can see these are the bids that are out there. This is the status. So you don't have to wait for that, Monday morning sales meeting too. You can go home on Friday as the project manager knowing that there are opportunities out there that we might get. So I can have a good time this weekend without worrying about it.
Well, what was the pain that made you create this system to not miss bid deadlines? Was there a big event and you just walked away shaking your head going, oh.
I found that I was missing a lot of bid deadlines, or not missing them because I had them on my calendar, but missing them because I never put them on my calendar. You get how many emails come through, so many emails come through from, especially now when you have, different systems like Building Connected that just have your name on their list. And so you get solicited for general contractors that you'll never work with. Mm-hmm. So you're going through that noise. And then you have addenda that come through, RFIs that come through. And so keeping track of everything, it's easy to miss true bid invites that you want to add to your calendar and go after.
Remind me to send you the bid yes no checklist.
Okay.
Yeah, because we encounter this all the time in different flavors for different shops. But it's nice to be able to put things through a scoring mechanism, which allows you, just like you said, I just want to say no to 99% of the stuff that comes across my desk. But I want to say no with confidence so I can go and do whatever I need to this weekend, mow the lawn, just hang out with my daughter, or whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. Not think, oh my God, there's so many bids coming in, I got to look at them all. Just apply a bid scoring methodology to it.
Yeah. I'd love to take a look at that.
Emotional. I'll write this down. The bid yes no.
We developed our own a few years ago. I haven't used it in a while because it's just all in my head. It's just automatic for me. But I thought it was really cool because we have, trade school kids who come in and do work-based learning for us. And one of them was in drafting. And as he was learning that, I also had him just go through the estimating emails, and go through all the invitations to bid and look at this rubric and apply the rules that we created here and decline or accept, and then, go through the process of putting it on the bid calendar.
Yeah.
And it worked. And so
that's it. That's the bid yes no checklist. But
Yeah.
you need that. It's neat. You call it a rubric. It's just a scoring system.
Yeah.
It's a logic that I get out of my head and on paper.
And you can give it to somebody who might not know anything about estimating or your business at all.
Right.
And you'll get the result that you want, which is great.
Which is an SOP. It's a system.
Yeah.
I love simple systems because I'm not very smart. I need simple systems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Move peanut to jar. Got it. That's it.
Yeah.
So how to not miss bid deadlines, what's been the impact to your company, this software that you created or this system that you use inside your company? Because it sounds like it's really important to the way you guys build your funnel for future work, and then you know what you're going to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it allows us to focus on the work that we actually want to go after. Because if you can look at a table or a calendar and see, you have X number of large projects coming up, or projects that look like they're your sweet spot, then you can start declining the other projects that you would do just to do something. And so it really allowed us to focus on the jobs that we wanted to go after, and it improved our win rate, and it improved our profitability too, to be able to, really focus on those jobs,
on the right jobs. Lined up for what you guys build, how you build it, what your team's good at, your schedule.
Yeah.
Your schedule. Yeah.
Yep.
I think if I could solve selections and scheduling, if there was one magic pill to do that, it would just completely change the industry. But it's so dynamic. It just changes all the time. There's systems we can apply, like your system, which is, for not missing bid deadlines and making sure that you're going after the right deals. That's a big step.
Yeah.
But that scheduling thing is a constant.
Yes. It's constantly moving.
It's constantly moving. And again, this goes back to one of the things I think you and I already touched on, which is deal with the tough conversations first and fast.
Mm-hmm.
If this is going to be a scheduling issue, let's talk about it right now.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And if there's a, material that they specified and there's no way that material is going to even be in your shop before the job is supposed to be turned over to the owner, then it's a good conversation to have now.
Right. Yeah. Those panels you ordered are coming through the Strait of Hormuz. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
You're like, yes. Well, they're not coming.
No.
Or they're going to be slow, or they're more expensive. Right. Yeah. Or they have little holes in them. I'm not sure why. We don't want that.
No.
Yeah. That often happens, with the acoustical panels coming from Germany or Austria. And it just puts a grinding halt onto everything when you're just putting sound dampening in an office.
Yep.
And we have to find alternatives, and fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Right.
Well, listen, you tell us a little bit more about this thing you've developed out of the pain of being an estimator for years and missing bid deadlines, but also it seems like getting a really good grasp of it. So your company comes into this sales meeting once a week and says, we know what's going on. Tell us about what you do there.
Yeah. So it's gotten to the point where we don't even have a sales meeting, because the data is right there for everyone to see.
Wow.
And so there's really no need for a sales meeting. So I developed this thing, and it's an app, and you forward your invitation to bid to an address, and it parses the data for you and puts it onto a bid board and bid calendar.
Oh, you send it to one of your own internal email addresses?
It's a different system that I made that's external.
Mm.
Yeah.
Let me back up. What's it called? What do you call this app?
It's called Bid Transparency.
Bid Transparency.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. So then you enter the data on your side, and it through the app, it enters it into all your calendars and tools in your company.
Yeah. So the idea is no data entry at all. So if you can forward an email, you can work in the system.
Simple systems, Rich, right?
Yeah,
Put peanut in jar. That's the limit. Yeah.
So we all live in email all day long.
Right.
So this works right alongside you in your email. You forward the email and the system handles the rest. It takes the project name, takes the general contractor, the contact information from that GC, and puts it on your calendar, the bid due date, and it puts it on your calendar. And everything is handled automatically from there. So after the bid date, you'll get an email saying, did you bid? If you did, then it starts the follow-up process for you too.
You automate the follow-up process.
Yes. Yep. Automates the follow-up process by either sending an email directly to your client, or prompting you to call them or send your own email.
Right.
Yeah. Depending on how you want to manage that relationship.
It's interesting that you say that, because earlier I said, what makes a great estimator? And you said detail-oriented, shop experience, and they're good at asking questions. But what I also find that quite often a detail-oriented person is not naturally an outgoing person.
Right.
You even inhaled before you answered, Rich. Right? Because the skills that make somebody a good estimator aren't necessarily the same skills that says pick up the phone and call a guy.
Right. It's a completely different skill set.
Yeah. And I'm glad that both you and I recognize that. So you found a system to kind of overcome that, or not overcome it, but help it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Neat.
Because especially if you're not following up, you're missing so much information and feedback. You're spending, like we said before, you're spending hours doing a takeoff. And even if you're not getting the job, I feel like you should at least get some information for that effort. Even if it's just that the job is canceled because the owner didn't have enough money, or anything, you're 10% high, 15% high, or you were 50% low and we didn't trust your number.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that information is really key to help you get better on the next bid.
And to learn as you go. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the last thing that you do.
Sorry, say that again.
It's the last thing that a lot of estimators want to do, I think, is to spend that time. Yeah. Do that follow up. And it requires discipline to do it consistently too, because you don't know when you're calling. You're probably not calling at the right time. You're probably not emailing at the right time. I found that email is usually better because a GC can respond whenever they have time or whenever they have the information. They might not have the information. So I at least initially do a lot of emailing, and then I'll do phone calls, make the phone calls. But so it's great. And we try to keep it simple too. On the automated emails, there are 3 buttons that a general contractor can click on. So it's in the email,
you built a system for them to make it easy for them. Click.
Yes.
What, happy face, not happy face, red face? Like what is it?
More or less, yeah.
Really? I was joking, but that's great.
Yeah, it's we don't know yet, basically, or didn't go your way, or let's talk. This is probably going your way, so let's have a conversation about it. And then you get an email based on what they click.
Yeah.
And they've really enjoyed it, especially the younger generation of estimators. They love it. And they say, I wish all my subs had this.
Yeah. Well, look, estimators on all sides are busy, and an estimator's job is to estimate.
Yep.
And so when push comes to shove and they've got an hour left today, what are they going to do? Are they going to estimate, or are they going to follow up? And in their mind, they're like, I'm an estimator. I have to estimate. And I'm not talking about estimators here. Let's switch to another office in everybody's building, the bookkeeper. The bookkeeper's job is to count things and to pay bills.
Mm-hmm.
And so they think, well, I got an invoice, so I paid it today. I did my job. I paid it right away. We probably need to go talk to that bookkeeper and say, hang on, we have 30 days to pay that bill. You don't get extra points for paying it right. But everybody thinks this is my job, so this is what I do. When I do it fast, I do it right. And I think what I'm hearing from you is you've taken this estimator position and saying, look, we do have to estimate. We have to estimate the right jobs for the right price. We also have to follow up, because otherwise we're just spitting out paperwork everywhere. Yeah, we'll do this job. We'll do this. We never go back and pick up the yeses because we forgot to follow up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, neat.
And oftentimes I found that the follow-up reveals things that you wouldn't know too. Or you might assume that that a bid is dead, but just by following up, you get a different story, and it might still be out there, and it's looking good for you, and just hold tight. And sometimes by following up, it just shows that you care, and that you are interested in this job, and maybe you were wildly overpriced on it. Your estimate was wrong in some way, and just by following up, you can have that conversation. And they'll say, look, I don't know why, but you were 50% higher than the rest of the market. So go take another look and see if you can get more competitive on this. And so it creates opportunities that otherwise wouldn't be there.
Right. And then I guess, as you were talking about before, those sales meetings where you're anticipating other jobs, when we don't know what we've bid on that we might get, we start to bid on crapola. Am I allowed to say crapola? We start to bid on less quality ones because we think we got to fill the funnel, fill the plane, and we didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
We blinked and we didn't need to blink.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rich, if you mentioned the name of the software, but if somebody wants to find you in this big wide world, how do we do that? And if you don't mind, the app's available to other people, or is it just for you guys?
No, the app is available to anyone.
Okay.
It's really geared towards subcontractors who are bidding, which is most of us. And it's bid transparency. So it's bidtransparency.com. And it's super simple to sign up. Once you create an account, you just need an email. There are no passwords. And then you can forward your first ITB and start building your bid board. So yeah, bidtransparency.com. And you can also follow me on LinkedIn. Be happy to talk with anyone about any of their pains, because there are so many, especially administrative pains out there, right? All the stuff that we have to do that doesn't really add any value to the job.
Non-value added work. It's funny how much lean manufacturing has entered this conversation. Yeah. We haven't used the word until just now, but it's been here the whole time. But you've applied that lean methodology to the office work by having this system, right?
Yeah.
It's digital, it's not analog, but it's a tool to help us smooth that flow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Remove the
stuff. Goldrat would be so proud.
The time.
Goldrat.
Yes.
Yeah. Paul Akers and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Brad, if he's listening. Brad, are you listening? Tell us if you're listening. So on LinkedIn, you're under Richard B.
Yeah, Richard Bergan, Bergan.
Okay, yeah, Richard Bergan, and it's Bergen Architectural Millwork.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And we have a link for the company and Bid Transparency, and we're on Instagram and YouTube. So
but if anybody ever says I couldn't find you, you already know they're not looking. It's just not hard. I mean, you'll be in the show notes for this, whether it's on iTunes or YouTube. But if you can't find Rich, you ain't looking. And then I can't imagine who might want to talk to you that has questions about estimating, because I think we all have. Estimating is the mouth of the beast, right? We're out there. We need to market. We need to promote ourselves so that people come in. But then estimating is the first thing.
Yeah, yeah, and it shows. From my CM seat, 20 years ago, 18 years ago, it's the first opportunity that you have as a subcontractor to show that you can meet a deadline, and that you can do it. You can deliver a quality product, right? Is your proposal clear? Have you thought through some of the problems? Have you communicated those things? And did you deliver the bid on time. That tells them that you pay attention to these things and that you can probably deliver a project on schedule too. So if you haven't worked with a contractor, especially, those things are really important.
Yeah.
But we all know that you're only as good as your last job. So you're always trying to meet or beat those expectations.
I want to share this story, and I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, somebody's going to correct me. I guarantee it. But did you ever hear that Van Halen was kind of divas when they toured?
Yes.
And they would have this requirement. There was no brown M&Ms in the bowl.
Mm.
But the reason for that, do you know the reason for that?
I don't think so.
So it kind of goes to, if you're answering bids on time and per spec, then they know that you're looking at the details of the job and you're answering it properly. So to use the Van Halen example, at least as I remember it, and folks, if I'm wrong, go ahead and correct me. I'll take it. But in their contract with the promoter who was taking them through different cities, they had a clause in there that there was no brown M&Ms in the changing room, because they also had a lot of pyrotechnics. And they knew that if the promoter was looking at the details that said no brown M&Ms, like that one little tiny rider, it also meant they were looking at the other details on the pyrotechnics and the safety and the scaffolding, etc. So that was their flag, their canary in the coal mine. If you didn't catch that, you're probably not going to catch other stuff. So when they walked into the change room and there were still brown M&Ms, that was their flag to say this might not be a safe stage.
Yeah.
Crazy times. So, but again, to your point, the contractor, the builder, the GC, they're watching for those signals coming back from you. And I think this automation, I can keep estimating, because the automation is going to send the email to the PM on that side saying, following up, how are you doing? I said, what, happy face, serious face, red face. You obviously
we might have to steal that, Dom.
There it is. Dude, take this screen capture, make it the happy face.
Yeah.
All right, Rich. Hey, great to see you again. Really good to see you. And thanks for sharing all this here. And it's bidtransparency.com.
Yes. Yep, exactly. Bidtransparency.com.
Yeah. Well, I hope people reach out to you. Thanks, Rich.
Thank you very much, Tom. It's great talking to you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Well, Mr. Rich Bergan, thank you so much for being with us today to talk about your app and how not to miss bid deadlines and why it's so important and what it looks like to have a good estimator. How many of us are the estimator and we need to replace ourselves as the estimator? So here's what I got from Rich on that is, if you want a good estimator, they need to be somebody who's detail oriented, they have some level of shop experience, and they ask great questions. And of course, you want them to work on simple systems. By the way, one of the systems that I talked about in the show, and I already sent this off to Rich, is the bid yes no calculator. The bid yes no scoring tool. I'm sorry. If you want that from me as well, just send me a text. I've already sent it to Rich. You've heard me talk about it on other shows, but maybe it hasn't been important to you up until now. So if you want the bid yes no score sheet, you want to know how to score deals. I like, Rich had a great word for it, a rubric. He makes it sound so smart. I didn't know it was a rubric. It's a tool. It's a simple system that with minimal training, you can hand to somebody and have them score deals so that you are only chasing the deals you and your company want to chase. Anyways, if you want that, you just text me. Just say bid yes no so that I know which professional development tool you want. Say bid yes no, and you probably already have my cell phone number written down. If you don't, it's 315-903-7853 and say bid yes no. Then I know which one to send you. By the way, if you are in the world of deal scoring, because this is a second tool that we've just developed. As a matter of fact, this might be the first time I've ever talked about it on the show. We've just finished building this one. If you find yourself confused, if you find yourself frustrated at saying, hey, look, we've got $1 million of potential work out there, but it doesn't mean we're going to do $1 million of work in the next 30 days. How do I sort this? There is a tool for doing that. I spoke about that on the show with Rich as well. I mentioned the word the Schiffman process. Now, I learned this when I was working at a big telecommunications company. Of course, the bigger the company, the less they like surprises. And so we had to use the Schiffman process to score our potential deals to make sure that the big telephone company knew how much line provisioning was going to be needed and how they had to build their network. Well, that same tool is something that we use in our coaching with millwork and cabinet and closet shops like yourselves. So if you want that tool, send me a different text message and just say it's called the $400,000 blind spot. So call it that. Text me and say $400,000 blind spot. It's a deal scoring tool, but say $400,000 blind spot, because I have to make sure that we are sending you the right tool to solve the right pain that you have. Of course, the cell phone number is exactly the same, 315-903-7853. And when you text that, it goes to me. Now, some of you have already noticed that we have Joshua on our team. Joshua is our business analyst. He's going to help you get the documents you need. So feel free to open up the conversation with him. The fact of the matter is that we are incredibly busy here, which is great. Those of you working with our coaches already know how important it is that we stay on a schedule, because our schedules are very, very tight and we're helping a lot of people, that's why we're here. We love to do that. Speaking of which, we're going to be introducing a new program soon. It's called the Profit Room. And this is a different kind of coaching program. It's a little more accessible in terms of time, in terms of investment. If you're interested in that, just tell me Profit Room, and then myself and Joshua will reach out and explain it to you. So that's coming up. And for those of you who have ever been thinking about coaching, but you want to be in a more of a workshop-based environment and you are okay being in a group, you don't want to do one-on-one, then say Profit Room. If you want to be in a one-on-one and not a group, then tell us that too. And if we have time in the calendar, we're happy to take you on. The other thing that's going on, and some of you already know about this because registrations are almost full, is there is a foreman training running now, starting in a couple of days. So that means we're starting the wait list for the next foreman training. We announced this foreman training to our clients, and of course our clients get first kick at the can, so it's already almost full. There's a number of people who we've been talking to, so they've already started to put their foremen and supervisors in this training. But if you want to be in the foreman training for future events, I guess it's only an 8-week program, so let's call it an event, then text us that as well, because you have to get on the list. The way to get ahead of time is to think about it in advance. You're hearing this right now. This episode may not go live for another 3 weeks. And so that means foreman training will be 2 weeks in already. So you're always going to find yourself catching up. Might as well get yourself on the list and say, hey, I have, some moderate level of interest the next time you might run foreman training. At least get on the list, because then myself and Joshua on our team will let you know when the next one coming up, and you don't have to be caught by surprise, or have a foreman who you're dying to train and support and say, I'll get you in the next foreman training. And then it doesn't run for another 8 months and they feel like you've broken another promise to them. So at least get on the list so that we know to tell you right away. That's the best way to do it. Anyways, I was supposed to be saying thanks to Rich. Rich, great guy. He and I met at AWI. We hit it off immediately and just had a great time. And I realized that as an estimator, especially as the owner of the business, he had a different perspective than a lot of people do. And that he was really making use of a tool that I keep hearing a need for, but I didn't know was solved. So it's nice that he's got something for that. If you want to talk to him, go ahead, talk to him about that. There's lots of ways to contact him. Let me also give you an update on the Christmas water project. Wow. So first of all, thanks. And those of you out there, you already know who you are, who are liking and commenting on multiple videos or multiple episodes. Thank you, because what you're doing is helping us put water, clean, safe drinking water in the hands of some people who really need it. I can't even imagine what it's like. I haven't been down to the site yet, but I'll be going soon to Nicaragua to see what the situation is there at this open pit dump and how people are living, but also the impact of the water. As of right now, we have 1,995, likes or comments or subscribes or shares. All of those count as a point. So if you just subscribe to the show now, whether it was on iTunes or YouTube, and then you liked and commented, that would be a subscribe, a like, a comment, and a share. So that you'd put 4 points in the kitty, which is fantastic. Anyways, we're at 1,995 points, which is 19,950 liters. I haven't done the math today. Sometimes I do the math. It's like half a tanker truck. It's a lot. It's a lot of clean water. And you're having a direct impact on some people who you'll probably never meet. But the point of this world is to actually do something greater, something bigger. If you give me another second, the reason I'm doing this Christmas water project, first, I love Christmas. I was saying this to Rich after we stopped the recording. Whenever the time comes for me to retire, I'm probably just going to build nativities. That's all. And then donate them to churches in the hope that they sell them at their auctions and charity fundraisers. I don't need to know who got the nativity, whether it's, a yard nativity or something for your mantelpiece. I like doing that. And I like Christmas. I just like the spirit of it. So I thought to myself, well, that's okay, but it only happens a couple weeks a year. How do we extend that? And that's where the Christmas Water Project was born. Something else that's come of this is that I've also found out that there's an opportunity in the future for us to go down, or whoever wants to go down with us, and build homes at this location. So that's coming. And there may or may not be fishing involved, as there always is with me. So let's see. Those are things in the future that are coming. But anyways, thanks to Rich for having a great conversation. Thanks to you for sticking around. As you know, I really appreciate you taking the time. If this is valuable to you, that's even better. I'm just trying to add value to the world wherever I can, and I hope this helps. Pass this episode on to somebody else who needs to hear it. In the meantime, until you and I have a chance to have a glass of wine, a cup of coffee, maybe drink an old fashioned, and just have a conversation like Rich and I did, and just have a conversation like two normal people talking in normal human ways instead of over this podcast. I look forward to that more than you'll ever know, and I'm proud to have you as a listener. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.